Welcome to the More Than Anxiety podcast. I'm Megan DeVito, and I help ambitious women break out of the anxiety cycle that keeps them frustrated and stuck. Get ready for a lighthearted approach that will change what you think, how you feel, and what you believe about yourself. This podcast is full of simple steps, a lot of truth talk, and inspiration to take action so you walk away feeling confident, calm, and ready to live. Let's get to it. Hey there. Welcome to episode 105 of the More Than Anxiety podcast. This week, I am so excited to introduce you to Dekeira Horne. Dekeira is a registered dietitian and a nutritionist. She has her master's in science and dietetics. She specializes in mental health and gut health, and she is going to talk to you all about how eating right can lower your anxiety. She's going to tell you her story on what worked for her, foods that are really rich in certain minerals and vitamins that can help your body relax, and how to help your brain think more clearly. She teaches this through manifestation. She has a 21-day plan that's really going to help you launch into feeling amazing. And she has so many incredible resources that you can use to feel less anxious, to learn about manifestation, and to really get to a place where you're feeling great. I loved talking with her. She's such a sweetheart. And I will, of course, put all of her links to all of her products and how you can work with her as a coach in the show notes. So enjoy the episode. Yeah, I love it when that kind of stuff happens. That's amazing.
Everything just kept working out. It was crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So now you get to go back. And
Yeah.
that's so good. I
Yeah.
love that. So I
Yeah.
love to hear people's manifestation stories and to just hear, like, tell me all the magic that worked out for you. I think that's awesome. And I love that you get to do that trip.
Thank you.
That's so good. So is this like manifestation? Did you learn this a long time ago, or is this a new thing?
So I learned this last year. I was going through my first adult breakup, and
Uh-huh.
it took like a really big toll on me because I have a history of anxious attachment style, not anymore.
Okay.
But I was previously anxiously attached, and my partner was avoidant. So you already know how that goes, and it caused a lot of turmoil and trauma and stress in my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And the breakup just hit me really hard. So it was my first time going on like an adult, like deep inner work healing journey. And
Mm-hmm.
at first I was looking up just like relationships I've had to heal, my attachment styles, looking into what are the causes of being anxiously attached and things like that. And then I started looking into I stumbled across like more spirituality stuff, like feminine energy healing and stuff like that. And then I remember stumbling across manifestation and the fact that I could get whatever I wanted by changing my mindset. And I
Mm-hmm.
love for things to go my way anyway. So I like this is like literally perfect for me. So
Yeah.
I just got into that. And then ever since I've just been like obsessed with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So for people who don't know, what can you explain attachment styles? So we know I think there's what, 4 or 6, something like that. But when you talk about anxious attachment versus avoidant attachment, just so people understand, wait, I've heard of this, but I don't know what it is. Can you explain it just a little?
So attachment styles are basically how you function in a relationship, and they can stem from multiple different things, like whether how you were raised. It can actually be genetic. It can be passed on to you through your mother's womb from the ages of 0 to 7. There's lots of different reasons that cause a relationship attachment styles, but you can be securely attached, which means that you have a secure attachment with yourself and with other people. You have you don't really have issues with trusting. You have like good communication skills. You're emotionally available, emotionally intelligent enough to withhold a relationship versus when you're anxiously attached, you have a lot of insecurities and anxieties around yourself, which gets projected onto the relationship. So you get anxious when your partner doesn't text you back on time, when they don't call you back on time, um when they accidentally fall asleep on you, if they flake on you, if they say something that triggers you, that can be like, that can show up as anxious attachment style or being really clingy and overbearing and always wanting to be with your partner and being afraid of not being with them and always being scared that one disagreement means that we're breaking up and like being just like overly on edge all the time in the relationship and just being very hypersensitive to your partner's actions, their words, and how they are versus avoidant, which is the complete opposite, where you literally don't even think about half of the things that you should be thinking about in a relationship. Like you're mainly focused on like your feelings not getting hurt, keeping distance between you and your partner. You're more emotionally detached. You're not that intact with your emotions, especially when it comes to dealing with conflict. You may freeze, you may run away from conflict, you may avoid conflict, you may not even know how to communicate during times of conflict. Poor communication skills in general, lack of emotional intelligence. So those are the basics: anxious, secure, and avoidant. I know
Mm-hmm.
there's fearful avoidant and dismissive avoidant. I'm not too
Yeah.
sure what those are, but I think dismissive is when you just like shut down, and fearful, I'm not too sure. I don't want to give the wrong definition, but those are like the basics of the attachment styles.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good background because I think we talk about those or we read, or maybe it's just my Instagram feed where, once you get on a roll, you get on a roll and everything starts
Yeah.
showing up. So there's all kinds of things out there about attachment styles. And I know there's books on it and things like that. So do you feel like that's a lot of your background? Like if you were to talk about your history of anxiety and like how long has it been going on for you or what got you to where you are right
So
now?
I feel as though ever since I was sexually active, which was um the summer before college, up until last year, that was like a 6 year time span of me being sexually active. That's when I realized I had an anxious attachment style,
Hmm.
because I would get attached to every guy that I was talking to or sleeping with. And it didn't really make sense as to why I was getting attached to like majority of them. So that's when I realized it. And then I kind of pieced them all together because it was like I was having anxiety in different areas of my life. So I would have
Hmm.
anxiety with like relationship, men, and sex, but then I would have generalized anxiety from like going on a plane or like walking certain neighborhoods or being out at nighttime,
Yeah.
or just I never really felt safe in my environment, and I never really felt safe in my own body. And then
Hmm.
when I learned about the attachment styles, I kind of just pieced it all together that I've experienced anxiety in all areas of my life, my whole entire life. So I just have anxiety like all across the board that I need
Hmm.
to work on and heal. So that's how I kind of got into the healing work of healing anxiety. But I forgot what your question was. What was it again?
Yeah, just really kind of your history with anxiety. You were on it. Like you said, I started
Okay.
noticing it then and then looking backwards. So, yeah, do you feel like I know that you and I, when we talked previously, I said, I don't know, mine was just I was 8 years old and what the heck? It
Yeah.
was just part of who I was at that point. And mine I think is really just being like super sensitive and hindsight, probably some ADHD in there that was undiagnosed at that point and still. But but for you, I know that we talked a little bit about you said like growing up, maybe there was, just feeling like you had to be careful when you were walking places and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I grew up in Brooklyn, and the area that I grew up in was not the safest.
right.
And my parents were separated, so my dad lived with like by himself, and I lived with my mom and my grandma.
Mhm.
So from second grade going up, I had to be responsible for my little brother and I walking home from school. My
Mhm.
mom would walk us to school, but have to walk us home. Sorry if you hear noise in the background.
It's
Um,
okay.
I would have to walk us home, and so I was always like scared of anything happening to me and my brother because I was
Yeah.
responsible. And there's always like shootings nearby and like just
Yeah.
lots of different crime and stuff. So like I was already paranoid as it was because of that. And then my mom always, even till this day, she only like watches the news. So the news is always on. So I was constantly seeing like negativity and violence and killings and stuff. And then she would always watch Law and Order also. So I was just constantly seeing crime on TV and then knowing that it
Hmm.
was happening around me. And I was just paranoid like my whole childhood, like someone breaking into my house, someone shooting through the window,
Yeah.
something happening to us. So that was the start of my anxiety. And then I just was always fearful of dying, I guess because of that. And I never
Yeah.
wanted to die in like a crazy way. So I was very fearful of like car accidents or especially planes. Like I used to always have like diarrhea before flights because I would be so scared to go on the plane.
Yeah.
My plane anxiety has come down a lot, but
Good.
I would be very fearful of dying in any way possible. And it was to a point where I would literally cancel plans or avoid going to certain places or doing
Hmm.
certain things, and with the fear in mind that if I do this, I may die.
Hmm.
And it's so overwhelming and like just annoying to live like that. I just wanted to live my life anxiety free. And
Hmm.
I know that it starts within my gut that can help impact my brain, but also my brain cues a lot of rewiring as well through subconscious reprogramming tools such as like
Hmm.
subliminal, scripting, journaling, affirmations, things like that, meditation. So that's what took me onto this journey of healing my anxiety. And
Yeah.
it basically all just started from childhood.
Yeah. I love that you brought up all these different things because I think that even if your anxiety tends to focus on one thing for you, violence around you, which had to be terrifying as a kid, trying to walk home and keep your little brother safe and get yourself home safe. Of course, you are afraid of those scary things happening around you. And then mom's watching Law and Order, and you're like, oh my God, it's everywhere. So,
Literally, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So that is. I mean, I think that there's that. And then, when you're little and your brain's just sucking all this in and it's wired to keep you safe. So, that makes sense. So I know for myself, I had a lot of really, really bad coping skills that
Yeah.
I thought were helping me. What did you do that didn't work? Because I think it's really important to know what does work for each person, but I think it's also important to know the commonalities of the things that we do that are just keeping us feeling really crappy and anxious all the time. So what did you do that was awful? I think it's so important for people to be like, don't do this. This is bad. Like,
I feel like what's okay, so with attachment styles, like, yes, you can be anxiously attacked, but at the same time, you can also be avoidant
mhm,
because they're both insecure attachment styles. And I feel like growing up, even though I was anxious, I was also very avoidant of my own feelings and other people's feelings. Like, I did not care about anyone's feelings but my
mm,
own. And even my own, I never even really acknowledged my feelings. I was just like living through life oblivious somehow. And I think that was my way of coping because there
mhm,
wasn't anything I did specifically to cope with my anxiety. I just never even knew or acknowledged that I had anxiety up until my friend in college told me she thinks I have anxiety. Um,
mm.
and she's here right now.
Oh, that's
um,
fun.
yeah, she's cooking in the background, but she's when I acknowledged that I have anxiety, and I was like, oh, because I was really stressed out one semester. I was in 18 credits, and my chest was hurting me, and I felt like so weird. And then I went to a school therapist and they helped for like one session, but otherwise I was just too busy in school to go back. But I never really did anything to cope besides just neglect my own feelings and
Yeah.
everyone else's feelings. So like I don't I can't say, I mean, I definitely would not recommend doing that. I would
Yeah.
not recommend doing because it led to me being very selfish, um, very just like in my own world, not caring about anyone else,
Yeah.
cutting off a lot of people, ruining friendships. But I guess everything happens for a reason, and those friendships obviously were not meant to be in my life. But it just took a lot of character development and learning more how to be more patient, how to not be so reactive, how to just be
Hmm.
more calmer. um, but yeah, I wouldn't say I did anything specifically but be avoidant, and I would not recommend that.
Yeah. And I think that that's a big deal, though, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
when I'm talking with people and I say, tell me how you feel, and they're like, I feel bad. And I'm like, bad. That's like a lot. Bad, like
yeah,
how? And so, they'll say, well, I feel guilty. I feel ashamed. I feel, afraid. I feel disappointed. I feel whatever. And we just take all those things and we ball them into this big knot, and it creates, I mean, anxiety, yes, is, I mean, of course it's an emotion, but so often I think it is avoiding everything that we don't want to feel, and then it just all knots together. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I avoided everything that I felt because it felt bad. So,
yeah.
and because it felt bad, you were kind of stuck in it. So, I know that you do a lot of work with gut health or with nutrition, but you said not dieting, no strict dieting. So, what do you
Yeah.
do? Like, tell me about how you found that. How did you figure out that that works for you?
So in high school, well, technically middle school, I had a skin condition called hidradenitis. And
Hmm.
at the time, there wasn't any information about it on the internet, like at all. So I
Hmm.
would get like these very painful, like cysts under my arms and like in
Mm.
my groin area, like everywhere to the point
Oh,
where I couldn't walk for days. I'd have to miss school, and it was very painful. As a kid, it made me very insecure and like very like depressed and anxious as well.
yeah.
So I was looking up how to heal it, and that's when I learned about the gut brain axis and how your gut is directly connected to your brain. So what you eat impacts how you think and how you feel and your emotions and stuff like that. So then
Yeah.
when I realized that if what you eat impacts how you feel, then I can like make myself feel better and improve my memory through eating better. So
Mhm.
I would do a lot of research on like eating better for my gut and healing my brain health and stuff like that. And that's how I came across it. And for some reason, that part of nutrition just stuck with me of being passionate about the gut brain axis. Because even all throughout like college and stuff, my main focus was always on gut health to improve your brain health. So I was always interested in like diseases such as like Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, or just like memory loss, things like that. And I just found it to be very interesting. So then once I got into like more mental health, like anxiety, depression, OCD, ADHD and stuff, then I realized I can just help people learn how to eat better for their mental health. Because a lot of people don't realize that the connection between your gut and your brain. And so they neglect that and they'll still eat like not how they're supposed to and experience anxiety and depression, things like that. But then they don't realize that it starts within the gut, which is like the starter for every like disease, infection, illness. It all starts within your gut. So once you can heal your gut, you can heal your whole entire body and your brain, basically. So I just find that gut health is really important for like everything. So, and in dietetics, there's not really much focus on mental health. I only know a handful of mental health dietitians. So I thought it'd be cool to make my niche anxiety so that someone can at least be looking up like anxiety free and then I'll pop up and then they'll see that they can eat for their anxiety and it'll go away.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of this cutting edge thing too. I know there's just been research that came out recently that talked about calling Alzheimer's, what is it? They were calling it diabetes type 3, maybe.
Oh,
And they're
really?
just talking about the connection between, where did I hear this? I think I was looking at something, a friend of mine, her mother has some sort of dementia and she eats a ton of sugar. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I just saw a thing about the connection between your gut health and sugar and things like Alzheimer's. So I think you are
Yeah.
in like the exact right spot. And I love it that you're talking about gut health because the best way that for me, when I think about it, it would be we know you're not supposed to eat a lot of cholesterol because your arteries get clogged. So, what if you're not that your nerves can get clogged in the same type of way, but what if that's really the key? What if it's just that everything is clogged up and messy? So, are you finding that there's specific, because there's so many people that will say, eat this, do keto, do this, don't do this. What are you finding are the best foods or the best way to eat, maybe for you or for the people that you've worked with to help people say, I don't even know where to start because everybody says, don't eat this and don't eat this. And there's nothing that you can eat except for lettuce or
Yeah.
whatever, chicken.
I focus on what you can't eat versus what you cannot eat. And
Yeah.
before we even get into that, you were saying about being clogged. So
Yeah.
being constipated actually can lead to anxiety because if you're
Mm,
when you're constipated, you have excessive hormones that are supposed to be excreted through your waste stuck in your body, like
mm,
estrogen, for example. And if you don't excrete estrogen through your waste, it recirculates back throughout your body, and that can cause estrogen dominance, and that can
oh,
cause anxiety.
yeah.
So for one, going to the bathroom every day is really important for your anxiety to excrete that waste that can be causing excessive hormones to be circulating in your body, but
Mhm.
also bad bacteria that's being stored in your body that can impact how much of the good feeling emotions you produce, like serotonin, dopamine, GABA, things like that.
Mm,
So going to the bathroom is really important. But when it comes to eating, there's a few macronutrients, vitamins, minerals that are really important for anxiety. So for one, healthy fats help to basically cushion the brain, it helps to combat inflammation, and that can help with battling anxiety. So healthy fats are omega-3s that come from like nuts, seeds, fatty fish, oils, avocados, things like that.
mm,
And then you also have protein. Protein is a building block for certain emotions, such as I think serotonin, because serotonin is made from tryptophan, which is amino acid,
mhm,
which is the building block of protein. So when you eat more protein, you can basically create more serotonin and other feel-good hormones. Protein also
mm,
helps to stabilize your blood sugar, so it keeps you fuller longer. And when your blood sugar is stabilized, your cortisol levels, your stress hormones are stabilized. So that helps to stabilize your emotions in general. So having a sufficient amount of protein within your diet is really important. Having a lot of unrefined carbohydrates that are rich in fiber, because fiber helps to go to the bathroom, which helps with, alleviating any anxiety symptoms. Fiber also produces short chain fatty acids, which are very anti-inflammatory and really good for the gut. And it helps to produce good bacteria in the gut, which can produce more feel-good hormones and things and emotions. Fiber also just helps with other things that can alleviate like health anxiety. So like fiber help with heart disease, it helps with lowering cholesterol. And if you have health anxiety, that can make a really big impact. So fiber in itself also improves your mental health, which can come from unrefined carbs, such as like fruits, certain vegetables, whole grain products, things like that. And then when it comes to minerals, iron is really important because iron deficiency anemia can be linked to anxiety because of the symptoms of like having like the shortness of breath, your heart is racing, getting headaches, lighthead, dizzy. Those are all anxiety symptoms. So making sure that you're eating iron-rich foods, such as like red meats, certain legumes, seeds will have iron in them, spinach, certain leafy greens. And then magnesium is another mineral that's really important for anxiety. Specifically, magnesium glycinate has been shown to reduce anxiety and help with sleep and insomnia. And when it comes to the vitamins, vitamin B vitamins play a role in anxiety because it gives us energy. Vitamin D has been linked to anxiety and depression if it's deficient, which it can be deficient mainly in people of color because the melanin in our skin blocks the sun from penetrating. So that can cause us to be more vitamin D deficient. And then vitamin E, K, and that's pretty much it. Also, having a deficiency in zinc, which is rare, kind of. Lacking zinc can cause more anxiety, and lacking probiotics in the diet can cause more anxiety as well.
Yeah, and I've heard a few of those, but I think that that's a really great rundown of a list. And for people just to know, I think that there's so many supplements out there and so many different things that like, what do I buy? Do I buy them all? Do I take like 100 pills a day? But I think that just that's a really solid list to look at. These are the foods that you can eat. And if you're like, no, forget it, I'm never going to eat, I don't know, spinach or something like that, then
Yeah,
okay, go find an iron supplement.
yeah,
Or if you know that you work in an office all day and you're not going to be in the sunshine, go get yourself some vitamin D in a jar because you're not going to get outside. And something that I didn't know that seems in my head seems the exact opposite. I would think that melanin would have more receptors, and I did not know that it was blocking vitamin D. Like I would have thought that that would make it like, okay, now we have more receptors, but it doesn't. It's the exact opposite.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So the sun produces UVB rays, and UVB
Hmm.
are the ones that does the vitamin D synthesis in the body. And so because the darker the skin, it's basically harder to penetrate it. Because basically like the more
Okay.
melanin, the more of a barrier you have.
Yeah.
Um, which is why people of lighter color typically would get more sunburned and get more sun damage than darker people.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's exactly why it plays a big difference.
That's so interesting to me because I would have been like, no, I feel like there's more receptors there, but it's not. It's the okay, exact
Yeah.
opposite. I'm learning all kinds of things today. Thank you. That's really good to know. So for anyone listening that you're like, I don't know why my vitamin D is low. If you didn't know that, that's important. That I mean, it's going to take either a little extra time or a little boost of
Yeah.
vitamin D from a jar or something.
And you cannot
Supplement.
always go to the doctor and get lab work for vitamin D, but some
Hmm.
symptoms would be like your body would ache, your bones would ache,
Mm,
feeling very tired, feeling very depressed for no reason, especially seasonal depression.
yeah.
Um, and I think those are the main symptoms of vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah. That's so good to know. So do you have a favorite, like when I eat this food, I just feel so good because I do. And I wonder if you do. Like there's one food that I know that if I'm feeling anxious or if I'm feeling kind of blah, if I eat sweet potatoes, I'm like everything in the world is amazing. Like I just feel really good and I know that they're good for your gut, but I liked them before I ever knew that. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense that when I eat this, I actually feel really like even keeled and solid. And that for me, that is my food. Like I love a sweet potato with chia seeds and peanut butter on it, which I know is weird, but it's
Oh,
good.
really?
Oh, potato. If you put sweet potatoes and peanut butter together, it's like dessert for lunch. It is so good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, me personally, I hate peanut butter, so.
Oh man, yeah, like that was my lunch forever. I was like, yeah, I have a sweet potato with peanut butter on it. It's like pie.
That's,
Um,
I never thought of that.
yeah, do you have a food that you're like, yes, this makes me feel really, really healthy or really even and good?
I feel like whenever I eat things that have magnesium, I feel better.
Mm,
Because even I would take this supplement called theanine serene, and it was a
okay.
magnesium-based supplement. And when I took it, all of my anxiety symptoms would just immediately like disappear. And that's like the only supplement I've ever found that made me feel like that. And
Yeah.
I discovered it because when I was studying for my dietitian exam, I was having such bad anxiety to the point where my stomach was hurting all the time. And when I
Yeah.
took that, I automatically just felt better, and I've never experienced that before. And when I eat like chocolate, well, obviously we have to be mindful of chocolate that's very high in sugar and stuff, but just
Mm-hmm.
things that have magnesium just make me feel better. Like even like in the Caribbean, we drink this tea called cocoa tea, and
Mm-hmm.
it's raw cocoa boiled in water with herbs and spices, and you add like your own milk and sugar. Like so just anything chocolate based really, which is chocolate is rich in magnesium. If it's like
Right.
if like the more dark the better. I think
Mm-hmm.
that helps me the most is anything like that has traces of magnesium in it. It makes me feel better, which makes sense because magnesium is responsible for over 300 chemical reactions that
Mm-hmm.
take place in the body. And it's really important for your nervous system and
Mm-hmm.
just your nerve health in general. So I think anything rich in magnesium, honestly.
I want to try cocoa tea. That
Yeah.
sounds really good. It
Makes
does,
me
it sounds
feel
really good. Yeah.
really
Cocoa
good.
tea. Okay. Noted. I'm going to put it in my brain and I'm going to find it somewhere. All
Caribbean
right.
cocoa tea, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So I know
Mhm.
you have an app and I know you
Yeah.
have a lot of guides and ways to help people. So how do people connect with you? What do you want them to know?
So
How
I
can you
have an
help them?
app. Yeah, so I have an app called the Anxiety Free It Girl app. It's available on Google Play and the Apple App Store, and it's an
Mhm.
all-inclusive mental health wellness app that has affirmations, subliminals, there's meditations on there, there's sound healing frequencies, there's journals on there. So I have a bunch of things on my app. So all you have to do is just download it. It's free to download and it's free resources on there. But if you want to pay for the other features, it's $17 a month. And so I always add things to the app. I'm adding things to it constantly, just upgrading it. If you ever have any suggestions, anyone that's listening to of what you want on the app, I can make it and put it on the app. So that's my app. I love it. It has everything in one. And then I have digital products. So I sell a 7 for $7.28 manifestation scripting bundle packet with 7 different scripting packets for manifesting different things. So manifesting your anxiety away, manifesting your health anxiety away, manifesting away your financial anxiety, and just other different prompts to help you script to manifest an anxiety-free life. And for those who do not know what scripting is basically a form of journaling where you're writing out your desired realities if it's your current reality right now. And what this does is that it tricks the subconscious mind to thinking that your desired reality is what your reality is right now. And that can help to bring your manifestations into your life faster. It can also help you to see evidence of your manifestations out in public.
Mhm.
So scripting helps me a lot. I do it almost every single day. It's how I got my luxury apartment, how I manifested $5,000 and a brand new job is through scripting. So I stand by scripting. I love it, which is why I created those scripting packets. And then I also have free ebooks as well. I have a free ebook called Mindful Practices that goes through different mindful practices you can do every single day to help alleviate um, any type of mental health distress, whether there's anxiety, depression, OCD, ADHD. So those are my main products.
You are amazing. Like that is so much to put out into the world. Seriously. Like I'm like,
Thank
I
you.
need to use my brain a lot more. Like that is so good. Like, and
I use my
I
brain too
will
much.
say what?
I use my brain too much.
No, I love it. Like that is, I love it. I'm like, oh my gosh, Megan, pick it up. Like you need to come up with some stuff here. No, that is fantastic. And I'm going to put links to all of your resources, to your app, your ebooks, and all those things. So I will make sure that anybody listening to this episode can definitely find those resources and connect with you. I know that you're on Instagram, you're on Threads, all kinds of places. So I will be sure they
Yeah.
can get you. It has been so much fun to talk with you. I just love it. I'm so
Thank you.
glad we
You
connected.
too. Yes, me too. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thanks so much for joining me.
Of course. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the More Than Anxiety podcast. Before you go, be sure to subscribe and leave a review so others can easily find this resource as well. And of course, if you're ready to feel calm, to stop overthinking, and have a lot more fun, you can go to the show notes, click the link, and talk to me about coaching. I'll talk to you soon.